In the end, she chose the prophet. The prophet. This Jesus, this man of God, was coming between my future wife and me. I was losing the woman I held most dear in my life. I couldn't let that happen. I wouldn't let that happen. So when Ruth came to me in tears saying her Jesus had been arrested, I went down to hear the verdict that Pilate would hand down. Silently, I prayed for exile, or that they would at least shame him so badly that he couldn't show his face in Jerusalem again. But not Ruth. She wailed and reached for her teacher till she was a sobbing mess. She just wouldn't give him up. Not even when I told her it would cost us our marriage. I don't think she even heard me. She just kept screaming. So I sent her home with her sister. I told her we would figure things out later. I told her not to worry. I told her I wanted to save our marriage. I didn't tell her that I was ready to be rid of this bothersome Jesus, no matter what it cost.
The fool went and got himself arrested. From what we heard, he didn't even put up a fight. Some of his men were even armed. They could have tried to escape, but like a coward, he refused to fight. What kind of Messiah is that? Not any kind we would get behind. We went to his trial to see if he would use the public square to rally support for our cause. But again, he wouldn't fight back. Not even arguing for his own innocence. He just stood there, letting everyone hurl insult after insult at him. He never cried out when they flogged him, though. I'll give him that. When the governor asked the crowd if we wanted him to release Jesus or our zealot brother Barabbas, who had been captured several weeks before, there was no question in my mind. This Jesus was a fraud, not even remotely who he sold himself to be. He was not our king, and he could hang on a cross for all I cared.
My father was broken. He had spent his entire life living by the law. He had sacrificed so much for the people, the temple, for God. He had gained a reputation as an honorable man, and that reputation was his most treasured possession. His hard-won guarantee that our family would be safe and secure while under Roman rule. Without his honor and standing, we didn't know what life was going to look like. I loved Jesus, but I loved my father too. I could see that this decision was tearing him apart, and I'm ashamed to admit it. I loved our life. I loved the warmth of our house and the comfort of our food. If I could save my father the pain of becoming a social outcast, I would. I rushed through the city to Pilate's palace. There was Jesus, chained and bruised. Angry voices charged him with all sorts of crazy things, finally demanding the death penalty. I couldn't believe what was going on. I wanted to shout out against them, but the thought of my father kept me silent. But then the crowds started calling for Jesus' crucifixion.
With cold determination to save the woman I loved,
With my soul full of frustration at this charlatan Messiah,
Even as my heart was crushed beneath the shame of it,
I cried out,
I cried out,
I cried out,
"Crucify him!
"Crucify him!
"Crucify him!
Crucify him!
Crucify him!
Crucify him!
Crucify him!
Crucify him!
Crucify him!"
Crucify him!"